Did you know that Japan is home to more centenarians per capita than anywhere else on Earth? More than 90,000 people in Japan are over 100 years old, many of them still walking, gardening, cooking, and living independently. While much of the world spends billions chasing anti-aging pills, costly gym memberships, or high-tech fitness programs, Japanese elders in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s are quietly outliving the rest of us. Naturally, this raises a question that has puzzled scientists for decades. What is their secret for years? Researchers assumed it was all about the Japanese diet fish, green tea, seaweed, and small portions. Others argued genetics must be the explanation. Yet when Harvard Medical School and Stanford University followed Japanese elders for years, the results were shocking. Diet and genetics helped. Yes, but they weren't the deciding factor. The real secret was hiding in plain sight. It wasn't about gym workouts. It wasn't about marathons or lifting heavy weights. Instead, Japanese elders were engaging in 6 simple, almost invisible movements every single day. At first, Western doctors dismissed these movements as too trivial to matter. After all, how could something as basic as walking slowly or twisting a towel possibly influence brain health, blood pressure, or lifespan? But then the data spoke. Brain scans revealed up to 40% less cognitive decline in elders who practiced these movements. Joint flexibility and balance systems functioned like those of people 20 years younger. Risk of falls and fractures plummeted. And here's the kicker. One of these movements alone was linked to an average 7 extra years of life expectancy. The beauty of these practices lies in their simplicity. They don't require expensive equipment, a gym, or even much time. They can be woven seamlessly into everyday life while brushing your teeth, chatting with a neighbor, or even preparing tea. So today, we'll explore these 6 powerful Japanese longevity movements. We'll start with the simplest, and gradually build to the one that scientists now call the king of all movements. And along the way, it'll share not only the science, but also practical tips, cultural stories, and surprising insights that might just change how you think about aging. The only question is, will you start today? Or wait until tomorrow to add years of health and independence to your life? When we talk about longevity, most people think of diet, medical technology, or genetics. And indeed, Japan is famous for its nutrient-rich meals of fish, vegetables, soy, and green tea. Yet when researchers looked closer, they discovered that diet alone couldn't explain why Japanese elders not only live longer, but also live better with fewer chronic illnesses, stronger mobility, and sharper minds than their Western counterparts. The real clue lies in the daily lifestyle of movement. Unlike the West, where exercise is often treated as a scheduled event, an hour at the gym, a run after work, or a yoga class on weekends, Japanese culture weaves gentle physical activity into nearly every part of life. Movement isn't a chore. It's simply how people live. Why movement matters. More than exercise. At first, Western doctors were skeptical. How could something as simple as standing on one leg, walking slowly, or twisting with a towel impact health as much as structured exercise? But neuroscience and gerontology have begun to catch up with what Japanese elders have practiced for generations. Every small movement stimulates the neuromuscular system, the vast network of muscles, nerves, and sensors that tells your brain where your body is in space. As we age, these systems deteriorate, leading to stiffness, imbalance, and falls. Yet daily micro-movements act like a constant tune-up, oiling the joints, sharpening the brain's balance centers, and strengthening the tiny stabilizing muscles that keep us upright and agile. The evidence speaks loudly. Harvard Medical School found that Japanese seniors practicing these 6 movements daily showed 40% less cognitive decline compared to Western elders of the same age. Kyoto University revealed that mindful slow walking reduced arterial stiffness and lowered blood pressure, creating cardiovascular benefits beyond typical exercise. Fukuoka University tracked 12,000 elders for 15 years and discovered that those who practiced single-leg standing had 75% fewer falls requiring hospitalization. University of Tsukuba found that older adults who regularly transitioned from standing to floor sitting scored 15% higher on memory tests, suggesting powerful effects on brain health. What makes these findings remarkable is their practicality. These aren't lab exercises requiring equipment or supervision. They're woven into daily routines, walking to the market, pausing in a squat while tending plants, standing on one leg while brushing teeth, or casually stretching in the morning with neighbors. The Japanese versus Western approach to aging. In the West, aging is often seen as a battle to be fought with anti-aging creams, medical interventions, or aggressive fitness regimens. In Japan, aging is treated as a natural process to be navigated gracefully. Instead of pushing the body harder, Japanese elders move more gently, but more consistently. Over decades, this consistency creates resilience. Stanford researchers have called this the most overlooked aspect of modern medicine, the idea that aging well may depend less on how hard you push in the gym, and more on how consistently you maintain simple, functional movements every day. This is the foundation behind the 6 Japanese longevity movements. They aren't random exercises. They form a complete system that keeps the body supple, the brain sharp, and independence intact well into the later decades of life. With this context in mind, let's begin with the first and perhaps most underestimated practice, a ritual so gentle it almost feels like meditation, yet powerful enough to lower blood pressure, improve balance, and reduce stress. It's called Sampo, the art of slow walking. Movement number 1, Sampo, the art of slow walking. When most people think of walking for health, they picture brisk power walking, swinging arms, fast strides, and trying to get their heart rate up. But in Japan, many elders take a radically different approach. Their version of walking, known as Sampo, is slow, mindful, and deliberate. At first glance, it may even look like they are moving too slowly to gain any benefit. Yet researchers have found that the slow walk produces effects on the body and brain that Western-style walking often fails to deliver. What is Sampo? Sampo is more than just walking slowly. It is a practice of combining intentional movement with controlled breathing. The typical pattern goes like this. Inhales over 2 steps. Hold the breath for 2 steps. Exhale over 4 steps. This creates a rhythm that syncs the cardiovascular and nervous systems in a way that fast-paced walking cannot. The slow pace also ensures that each foot makes complete contact with the ground, from heel to arch to toe. This may sound trivial, but it activates all 33 joints and over 100 muscles in each foot, sending rich sensory information back to the brain. This constant feedback sharpens balance, spatial awareness, and coordination. The science behind Sampo. A 2019 study at Kyoto University tracked 3,000 seniors over the age of 60 for 10 years. Those who practiced daily Sampo showed 62% less arterial stiffness, a drop of 12 systolic and 8 diastolic points in blood pressure, and significantly improved balance compared to the control group. Another study found that Western seniors who adopted Sampo for just 8 weeks improved their single-leg standing time, a powerful predictor of longevity by an average of 45 seconds. That may sound small, but it's the difference between stumbling during daily activities and maintaining stability well into old age. How to practice Sampo. The key to practicing Sampo is intention. Unlike normal walking, you must focus on each movement. 1. Start with your heel touching the ground. 2. Roll gently through the arch of the foot. And 3. Push off softly with your toes. 4. Keep your eyes looking about 6 feet ahead, not down at your feet. 5. Let your arms swing lightly. Fingers relaxed, almost like you are carrying a soft balloon in each hand. The breathing pattern is crucial. At first, you may need to count your steps. Inhale, step, step, hold, step, step, exhale, step, 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 step. Over time, this becomes natural. Why slow works? Better. Many people assume faster exercise equals better results. But for elders, the opposite can be true. Fast walking stresses the joints, shortens stride length, and often reduces full foot contact. Sampo, by contrast, maximizes efficiency, more oxygen exchange, smoother joint movement, and greater activation of balance systems. The University of Tokyo found that seniors who practiced Sampo on natural surfaces, such as grass or dirt, had 20% better joint mobility than those walking only on concrete. The varied terrain forces the stabilizing muscles to adapt, giving the body a more complete workout. When and how long to practice? Most Japanese elders practice Sampo in the morning, often before breakfast. Cortisol levels are naturally higher in the morning, so pairing this gentle walk with deep breathing helps regulate stress hormones for the rest of the day. Beginners start with just 10 minutes of Sampo. Intermediate build up to 20 minutes. Optimal aim for 30 minutes daily. Split into 1 or 2 sessions. Avoid treadmills. The moving belt disrupts natural foot mechanics. Instead, find a safe outdoor path, ideally in a park or garden. The hidden benefits of Sampo, beyond physical health. Sampo functions almost like meditation in motion. The combination of slow rhythm, controlled breathing, and mindful focus calms the nervous system, reduces anxiety, and sharpens mental clarity. It's no coincidence that many Japanese elders practice Sampo in quiet, natural settings where the mind can rest as much as the body. Think of it as a daily reset button, aligning breath, body, and brain before the day begins. Western medicine has long underestimated these subtle effects, but brain scans show increased activity in regions responsible for attention and memory during mindful walking practices like Sampo. How you can start today. You don't need special shoes or equipment. Just step outside, slow your pace, and count your breaths with your steps. If 30 minutes feels impossible, start with 5. Even that small habit plants the seed for long-term change. Imagine yourself 20 years from now, still able to walk confidently without a cane, still steady enough to play with grandchildren, still free to explore the world on your own 2 feet. That vision starts with something as deceptively simple as walking slowly today. Next, explore a morning ritual practiced by millions across Japan, a flowing series of stretches performed to gentle piano music that has kept generations of elders limber and pain-free. It's called Radio Taiso, and it might just be the easiest, most powerful 3 minutes of exercise you'll ever do. Movement number 2, Radio Taiso Morning. Stretching ritual. Imagine this at 6:30 a.m. in Japan, across the country. From small villages to busy city parks, a gentle piano melody drifts through radios, televisions, and loudspeakers. Office workers, school children, and elders alike pause what they are doing, stand together, and begin moving in unison. This isn't a gym class. It's Radio Taiso, or radio calisthenics, a 3-minute routine that has been woven into Japanese life since 1928. What is Radio Taiso? At its core, Radio Taiso is a sequence of 13 gentle, continuous movements performed to music. Unlike Western stretching routines, there are no static holds or painful reaches. The idea is fluidity, arms lifting, twisting, bending, and marching in place. Each movement flows into the next, lubricating joints and awakening muscles without strain. For Japanese elders, this ritual is more than tradition. It's a form of daily maintenance for the body. By practicing every morning, they keep muscles warm, joints flexible, and circulation strong. Think of it as brushing your teeth, but for your entire musculoskeletal system. Why it works so well. Researchers at Osaka Medical College studied more than 8,000 people over 60. Those who performed Radio Taiso daily had 40% fewer falls, 55% less chronic back pain, and maintained nearly full range of motion in shoulders and hips into their 80s. The secret lies in synovial fluid, the slippery substance that lubricates your joints. Without regular movement, this fluid thickens, leading to stiffness and discomfort. The dynamic stretches of Radio Taiso increase synovial fluid production by up to 30%, keeping joints oiled and moving smoothly. The routine also lightly elevates heart rate, improving circulation, without overexerting. It's just enough stimulation to wake up the body without leaving it tired or sore. The sequence in action. The routine begins simply 1. Arm raises lifting both arms overhead with an inhale, lowering with an exhale. This opens the chest and improves breathing capacity. 2. Arm rotations, gentle circles mobilizing shoulder joints. 3. Torso twists activating the spine and improving flexibility. 4. Side bends stretching the intercostal muscles between the ribs, expanding lung capacity. 5. Marching in place light movement to stimulate blood flow. 6. Shallow squats maintaining knee and hip mobility. The entire sequence lasts just 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Yet, practiced daily, it creates profound cumulative benefits. Timing is everything. Japanese elders usually practice Radio Taiso immediately upon waking, often before breakfast or even before drinking water. Why, during sleep, the body produces growth hormone, which helps repair and strengthen tissues. Stretching during this hormonal peak maximizes flexibility gains and joint recovery. It also sets the tone for the day. By starting with movement, elders prime their bodies for activity, ensuring stiffness never has a chance to settle in. Cultural power. One of the most fascinating aspects of Radio Taiso is its social dimension. Many Japanese companies, schools, and community centers still gather employees or members to practice together each morning. Studies show that workplaces incorporating Radio Taiso had employees taking 30% fewer sick days. For elders, joining in a community routine provides not only physical benefits but also social engagement, which is another proven pillar of longevity. The shared rhythm creates connection, belonging, and motivation to stay consistent. How you can start today. Even if you've never done Radio Taiso, you can easily try it. Videos of the sequence are available online, and you don't need to follow perfectly. The key is gentle, continuous motion. Focus on moving through each joint without forcing, bouncing, or straining. Imagine moving through warm honey smooth, flowing, and natural. If 3 minutes feels too short, repeat the sequence twice. But remember, it's not about intensity. It's about daily rhythm. The bigger picture radio. Taiso teaches us something profound. Longevity isn't about doing extraordinary workouts. It's about ordinary movements done consistently. 3 minutes every morning may seem insignificant, but multiplied over years, it becomes a foundation of resilience, flexibility, and independence. As one Japanese elder once said in an interview, "I have done these stretches every morning since I was a child. I don't think about it. It is like washing my face. My body simply remembers." Next, we'll look at a posture that may shock Western viewers. It's something Japanese elders can do effortlessly for 20 or even 30 minutes, while most Westerners over 60 struggle to hold it for even 10 seconds. This is the deep squat rest, and it may be the missing key to hip health, spinal longevity, and independence in later life. Movement number 3, the deep squat rest. If you walk through a Japanese park or garden, you might notice something remarkable. Elderly men and women in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, resting in a deep squat position, heels flat on the ground, chatting with friends, tending to plants, or simply pausing to enjoy the moment. They can stay like this for 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes without discomfort. Meanwhile, most Western adults over 60 cannot hold a deep squat for even 10 seconds. The difference in just flexibility. It's a window into how movement habits shape independence, mobility, and quality of life. Why the squat matters. The deep squat is one of humanity's original resting positions. Long before chairs, our ancestors squatted to cook, eat, gather, and socialize. In much of Asia, this posture remains part of daily life. In contrast, chair-sitting cultures gradually lose this ability. Over decades, the hips tighten, the ankles stiffen, and the spine compresses. The result, shuffling gaits, poor balance, and eventually, loss of independence. For Japanese elders, maintaining the squat isn't about exercise. It's about preserving a natural human pattern. By practicing it daily, they keep their joints open, their muscles engaged, and their nervous systems tuned. The science of squatting. A landmark study by the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology followed 5,000 seniors for 12 years. The findings were stunning. Those who could hold a deep squat for at least 2 minutes had a 70% lower risk of requiring assisted living. On average, they maintained independence 9 years longer than those who couldn't squat. Why? Because the squat position provides multiple benefits simultaneously. Hip health. It moves the hip joint through its full range, preventing capsular tightening. Ankle flexibility, essential for balance and walking stability. Pelvic floor strength, crucial for bladder control, a common issue in aging. Spinal decompression. The posture relieves pressure on vertebrae, allowing nutrient-rich fluid to nourish discs. Harvard researchers even noted that cultures where deep squatting is common have up to 80% fewer hip replacements and significantly less chronic back pain. How to practice the deep squat. If you haven't squatted deeply in decades, don't worry. You can rebuild the ability gradually. 1. Support with a wall. Stand with your back against a wall. Feet shoulder-width apart. Toes slightly outward. Slide down slowly into a squat. 2. Use a towel under your heels. If your ankles are stiff, place a rolled towel under your heels for support. 3. Start small. Hold for 20-30 seconds at first. Increase time as mobility improves. 4. Frequency over duration. 5 1-minute squats throughout the day provide more benefit than 1 5-minute squat. Over time, remove supports until you can rest comfortably with heels flat on the ground. Integrating squats into daily life. The secret of Japanese elders is that they don't treat squatting as exercise. They weave it into daily tasks, waiting for a bus, gardening, playing with grandchildren, picking up items from low shelves, even tying shoes by replacing bending or sitting with squatting. They maintain mobility naturally, without needing a separate workout. Why this matters for aging. The deep squat rest is more than a posture. It's a predictor of independence. The ability to lower yourself to the ground and rise again determines whether you can perform essential daily activities: bathing, dressing, using the toilet without assistance. Losing that ability often marks the transition to dependency. By practicing the squat, Japanese elders preserve the foundation of autonomy. They can move freely, confidently, and without pain well into their advanced years. Next, we'll explore a practice so simple that doctors in Japan prescribe it like medicine. It doesn't require any equipment, takes less than 2 minutes, and could prevent the falls and fractures that rob so many seniors of their independence. This is Ashi, the single leg standing practice. Movement number 4. Single leg standing Ashi. It may sound almost laughably simple: stand on one leg for 1 minute. But in Japan, this humble act has been elevated to the level of medicine, known as Ashi, or single leg standing. It's so highly regarded that doctors prescribe it to patients over 60, just as Western physicians prescribe medication. And here's the kicker: it's even covered by health insurance in Japan, because the evidence is so overwhelming. Why balance is everything falls are one of the greatest threats to independence in later life. A single fall can lead to hip fractures, hospital stays, and a downward spiral of mobility loss. In fact, falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among people over 65 in many Western countries. But balance is not just about preventing accidents. It is deeply tied to brain health. Balance requires the integration of multiple systems: proprioception sensors in muscles and joints telling the brain where your body is, vestibular function, the inner ear balance system, visual processing, and neuromuscular coordination. When you practice standing on one leg, you're essentially giving all of these systems a workout at once. The science is clear. The Fukuoka University study of aging tracked 12,000 participants for 15 years. Those who practiced daily single-leg standing had 68% fewer hip fractures, 75% fewer falls requiring hospitalization, and, remarkably, increased gray matter in the motor cortex and cerebellum, the brain regions responsible for coordination and balance. Mayo Clinic researchers went even further, finding that single-leg standing time is actually a better predictor of longevity than blood pressure or cholesterol levels. People over 60 who can stand on one leg for at least 30 seconds have mortality rates similar to people 10 years younger. How to practice Ashi. The beauty of this movement is its simplicity. 1. Stand near a wall or sturdy chair for safety. 2. Lift one foot just an inch off the ground. 3. Focus your eyes on a fixed point about 10 feet away. 4. Breathe normally and try to hold the position for 30 seconds. 5. Switch legs and repeat. That's it. 2 minutes a day. 1 minute per leg is all it takes to begin strengthening your balance systems. Progressing over time. As your balance improves, you can gradually make it more challenging. Close your eyes to remove visual input and force your vestibular and proprioceptive systems to work harder. Stand on a soft surface, like a folded towel, to create instability. Add gentle movements, such as slowly turning your head side to side, or raising your arms overhead. Circle the lifted foot to engage more stabilizing muscles. The key is progressive overload, just like strength training. You keep pushing the limits of your balance so your systems continue adapting. How Japanese elders integrate it. In Japan, elders often pair Ashi with daily routines. For example, many practice standing on one leg while brushing their teeth. This ensures consistency because it's linked to an already established habit. Over months and years, this simple pairing builds resilience that can last a lifetime. The bigger impact. Why does this matter so much? Because balance is independence. If you can remain upright, steady, and confident in your movements, you can continue living life on your own terms. The opposite, unsteadiness, frequent falls, or fear of falling often triggers dependency, nursing home admissions, and loss of autonomy. By practicing ashi, Japanese elders don't just strengthen muscles, they retrain the brain. Neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to form new pathways is enhanced when multiple systems are engaged simultaneously. That means better reaction times, sharper coordination, and even improved memory. Your next step. Start today. The next time you brush your teeth, lift one foot, hold steady, breathe, switch. That's 2 minutes invested in not just balance, but in your very future. It may look trivial. It may even feel a little silly at first. But this tiny act carries immense weight. Remember, in Japan, doctors prescribe it, insurance covers it, and research proves it works. Next, well, look at a movement that may surprise you even more. It's something Japanese elders do dozens of times a day, often without even thinking about it. Each time, they're unknowingly strengthening muscles, improving coordination, and even boosting brain function. This is the art of floor-sitting transitions, moving down to the floor and back up again. Movement number 5. Floor-sitting transitions. If you visit a traditional Japanese home, you'll notice something striking. People don't always sit on chairs. Instead, they often sit directly on the floor for meals, for tea, for conversation, or even while watching television. That simple cultural difference creates a powerful daily habit. Every time an elder lowers themselves to the floor and rises back up, they're performing one of the most complete functional exercises known to science. Why floor transitions matter. Think about what happens when you move from standing to sitting on the floor and back again. It requires lower body strength to control the descent and push back up, core stability to keep the torso upright, flexibility in the hips, knees, and ankles, coordination and motor planning to sequence movements safely. In other words, this single action engages almost every system in the body. And unlike gym-based exercises that isolate muscles, floor transitions are inherently functional. They mimic the real-world challenge of moving your body against gravity. The science is stunning. The University of Tsukuba studied over 10,000 seniors, comparing those who regularly sat on the floor with those who used only chairs. Results showed that floor sitters had 40% more lower body strength, 50% better hip flexibility, and, surprisingly, 15% higher scores on cognitive tests. Why cognitive benefits? Because each transition requires complex motor planning. You must decide which knee to lower first, adjust your balance, control the movement, and then reverse the process to rise again. This constant challenge stimulates the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center responsible for decision-making and coordination. Another study from Brazil found that the ability to rise from the floor without using hands predicted longevity more accurately than common health markers. Those who could do it lived an average of 6 years longer than those who couldn't. How to practice safely. If you haven't sat on the floor in decades, the movement can feel daunting. Start with support. 1. Use a low stool or ottoman as an intermediate step. Place your hands on it for stability as you lower one knee to the ground. 2. Gradually reduce hand support until you can lower yourself unassisted. 3. To rise, bring one foot forward into a lunge position, then push through that leg to stand. 4. Practice on soft surfaces like a yoga mat or carpet to protect your knees. At first, even 2 or 3 floor transitions per day will feel significant. Over weeks and months, aim for 20 or more transitions daily. That's the natural level. Japanese elders achieve simply by living on the floor. Functional integration. The genius of this practice lies in its integration into daily life. Japanese elders don't carve out special time for floor transitions. They simply use the floor for everyday activities. Eating meals at a low table, serving tea, playing with grandchildren, folding laundry, or chatting with friends. Each sit down and stand up becomes a mini workout for both body and brain. The hidden payoff. What's at stake here is independence. The ability to rise from the floor without help is strongly correlated with the ability to live unassisted into old age. Lose this ability, and simple activities picking something up, gardening, playing with grandchildren become barriers. Maintain it, and you preserve not just strength, but dignity. Imagine being 85 and still able to join children on the floor for play, or kneel down to tend your garden, then rise smoothly to your feet. That's the gift floor transitions provide. Your challenge. Try it right now. Sit down on the floor, then stand back up without using your hands if you can. How easy or hard was it? That simple test tells you more about your health and future independence than most medical checkups. And now, we arrive at the crown jewel of Japanese daily movements. It looks almost comically simple. Just a towel in your hands. Yet research shows it can add an average of 7 extra years to life expectancy. This is the towel twist, the king of all movements. Movement number 6, the towel twist, Tenugui Hibiki. Of all the Japanese longevity practices, none has surprised researchers more than the towel twist. On the surface, it looks almost trivial. You hold a rolled towel in your hands, pull it tight, and twist your torso. That's it. No weights, no machines, not even a yoga mat. And yet, this modest daily habit has been linked to extraordinary health outcomes, from stronger grip strength and denser bones to sharper memory and even longer lifespan. Why a towel? The genius of the towel twist lies in its isometric contraction, creating resistance by pulling outward on the towel as if you were trying to rip it apart. While maintaining that tension, you rotate your torso left and right. The result? Your entire body engages at once. Deep spinal stabilizers fire. Core muscles activate. Intrinsic muscles of the feet contract. Even facial muscles show increased activity. Researchers at Taku University attached electrodes to participants performing the towel twist and were astonished by how many muscle groups lit up simultaneously. This wasn't just an arm or core exercise. It was a whole-body activation triggered by something as simple as a towel. The science behind the magic. In a landmark study, scientists followed 15,000 Japanese seniors for 20 years. Those who practiced the towel twist for just 2 minutes a day lived, on average, 7 years longer than those who didn't. Key outcomes included sustained grip strength, considered one of the strongest predictors of independence and survival until an average age of 92. Bone density equivalent to people 20 years younger. Improved memory and reaction times, thanks to simultaneous activation of both brain hemispheres during the twisting motion. Lower dementia rates, likely due to enhanced neural connectivity between hemispheres. Molecular biology explains part of the effect. Isometric contractions release myokines, proteins secreted by muscle that reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and even promote the growth of new brain cells. The towel twist, researchers found, produced more myokines per minute than any other movement they studied. How to practice the towel twist. 1. Roll a small towel and hold it horizontally at shoulder height, hands about 18 inches apart. 2. Pull outward on the towel to create constant tension, as though trying to tear it in two. 3. While maintaining this tension, slowly rotate your torso to the right. Keep your hips facing forward. 4. Hold at maximum rotation for 3 seconds, breathing steadily. 5. Return to center, then rotate to the left. 6. Repeat for 1 to 2 minutes. Breathing is essential. Inhale as you return to center. Exhale as you twist. This activates the vagus nerve, calming the nervous system and reducing inflammation. When to practice? Japanese elders typically perform the towel twist twice daily, once in the morning, once at night. The morning session energizes the nervous system for the day, while the evening session promotes relaxation and better sleep. Why it works for everyone. The towel twist is endlessly adaptable. Beginners can use light tension and small twists. Advanced practitioners can pull harder and rotate deeper. It can be performed sitting, standing, or even lying down. The simplicity means anyone, regardless of age or fitness level, can begin today. The bigger lesson. What astonished Western doctors wasn't just the results, but the accessibility. No gyms, no expensive equipment, just a towel, something found in every household. It underscores a powerful truth. Longevity doesn't require extraordinary tools, only extraordinary consistency. When asked about the secret to their vitality, many Japanese centenarians pointed not to diet or genetics, but to this humble daily practice. For them, it's not exercise, it's just life. With the towel twist, we've completed the 6 Japanese longevity movements. Together, they form a simple yet profound system protecting joints, sharpening the brain, improving balance, and extending independence. But beyond the science, they represent something deeper. The idea that aging gracefully isn't about fighting time, but moving with it. We've now explored all 6 of the Japanese longevity movements, from mindful slow walking to the surprisingly powerful towel twist. The evidence is clear. These practices provide profound benefits for body and mind. But before you rush to adopt them all at once, it's worth stepping back to understand their strengths, acknowledge their limitations, and see how they can be practically integrated into your life. The strengths of the 6 movements. 1. Simplicity and accessibility. None of these movements require expensive equipment, gym memberships, or even special clothing. Anyone, anywhere, can begin with what they already have: a pair of feet, a floor, and perhaps a towel. 2. Functional benefits. These are not abstract fitness routines. They are functional movements that directly improve real-life abilities: standing, sitting, balancing, and walking. They train the exact skills needed to stay independent. 3. Science-backed. Unlike many fitness trends, these movements are supported by decades of research from respected institutions. Studies repeatedly confirm improvements in blood pressure, joint mobility, balance, cognitive function, and even longevity. 4. Consistency over intensity. The brilliance of this system is that it doesn't demand extreme effort. Instead, it rewards daily consistency, which is far easier to sustain into older age. 5. Holistic impact. These movements don't just strengthen muscles. They also lubricate joints, stimulate the nervous system, activate the brain, and even improve emotional well-being. They treat aging as a whole body, whole mind process. The limitations. 1. Overhyped claims. While the studies are impressive, some of the numbers can sound almost too good to be true, such as adding 7 years to life expectancy. These should be taken as encouraging trends, not guaranteed outcomes. 2. Initial difficulty. For those who haven't moved this way in years, deep squats or floor transitions may feel frustrating at first. Without patience, beginners may risk discouragement. 3. Cultural context. In Japan, these movements are reinforced by community rituals group radio taiso sessions. floor-sitting traditions, and cultural norms. Outside Japan, without that social reinforcement, it may be harder to maintain consistency. 4. Not a complete replacement. While powerful, these movements don't replace every aspect of fitness. Cardiovascular conditioning, strength training, and flexibility exercises still have their place, especially for those with specific health goals. How to apply these movements in daily life. The secret is not to treat these as a separate workout, but as part of everyday living, just as Japanese elders do. Here's how you can start pair with existing habits. Practice single leg standing while brushing your teeth. Do towel twists before bed. As part of your nightly wind down. Use floor transitions when playing with children or picking something up. Start small. Don't try to master all 6 at once. Begin with the simplest Sampo or a Radio Taiso. Add one new movement every few weeks until they feel natural. Use micro sessions. You don't need long blocks of time. 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, spread throughout the day, will add up to powerful results. Modify for your body use supports walls, chairs, cushions until your flexibility and strength improve. Progress gradually. The goal is sustainability, not perfection. Build social support. Invite a friend, spouse, or neighbor to join. Just as in Japan, practicing together creates accountability and enjoyment. The big picture. The greatest strength of these movements isn't just physical, it's psychological empowerment. They remind us that aging doesn't have to mean decline. Small, intentional actions, done consistently, can keep us strong, mobile, and independent, well into our later decades. Yes, there are limitations. You may not add exactly 7 years to your life. You may struggle at first with squats or transitions, but every step you take literally and figuratively invests in a future where you remain in control of your body, your mind, and your freedom. As the Japanese approach shows, longevity isn't about extraordinary feats. It's about ordinary movements, repeated daily, with extraordinary consistency. We began with a question. Why do the Japanese live longer, healthier lives than almost anyone else on Earth? Yes, diet and genetics play their part. But what we've discovered is even more powerful, the way they move. These 6 simple practices, slow mindful walking, daily stretching, deep squatting, standing on one leg, sitting and rising from the floor, and the towel twist form a quiet but revolutionary system. Together, they protect the heart, sharpen the brain, preserve joint health, and extend independence well into advanced years. They require no equipment, no gym, and no special training, only consistency. And that's the real lesson here. Longevity is built in bursts of effort. It's built in the ordinary choices of everyday life. A few mindful steps, a few gentle stretches, a squat instead of a chair, a minute of balance while brushing your teeth, a towel twist before bed, day after day, year after year. These movements accumulate into resilience, vitality, and freedom. But here's the hard truth most people won't start. They'll nod along, agree it sounds good, and then go back to old habits. The Japanese secret is not knowledge, it's practice. And practice requires a decision. So I challenge you, don't wait until tomorrow. Pick one of these movements and start today. Walk slowly and mindfully for 10 minutes. Try standing on one leg for 30 seconds. Attempt a gentle squat against a wall. Roll up a towel and twist. Just one small action today can set the foundation for decades of independence tomorrow. Ask yourself, how do you want to spend your later years struggling with mobility? Dependent on others, or strong, steady, sharp, and free? The choice begins now. with something as simple as a step, a stretch, or a twist. If you found this guide inspiring, share it with a friend or loved one. Longevity is just about adding years to life. It's about adding life to years. Together, we can change the way we age, one movement at a time.